This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, November 17th, 2008, and this is episode 489 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. On today's show, we have Mike Scopa, a blogger over at allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
How old is the Earth? How was it formed? These and other questions about our watery planet have intrigued man since the beginning of time.
Universe of energy.
No.
Living with the land.
No.
Living seas?
No.
Our water... Oh, 20,000 leagues.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Very nice.
When you were saying it, I heard what's his name's voice in my head. Yeah. I just couldn't pull it out. It's a tequila.
Also joining us today is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World, and whoever gets Scopa's stupid trivia correct gets to get introduced next. So congratulations, Len.
Woo! Thank you.
And yeah, also joining us today is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome, Mike.
I never get anything.
You get the satisfaction of knowing that you're my favorite.
You're right.
I didn't say
Everyone,
you.
and I call you Mr. Mike Newell.
On today's show, we're actually going to be talking about the Walt Disney World Marathon and Half Marathon. They're coming up in January, and we had some questions that people were asking us about it, and certainly we don't want to be answering them in March. Well, we could just pretend they're for 2010, but, you know, we wanted to be clear about it. So we had some that were stacked up. We said, well, now's a good opportunity to answer them. And we have, obviously, Mike Scopa, who's raced in a few marathons. Mike, you're taking this year off for health reasons. But Mr. Len Testa, who has also run in marathons in the past, you'll be running in the half this year, Len, or the full?
I'm running the full this year.
All right, very nice.
Yeah, we'll see. Got a long way to go. Got a lot of training left to go, but I'll be all right.
All right, good. First question is from Sarah from Berkeley, who writes, "Hi, Mike, Matt, Len, Annette, and any other folks who might be there today. My mom, sister, and I are heading the world for the Princess Half Marathon in March. Oh, different marathon, but we'll keep it anyway. Girls only weekend. We arrive on Friday morning and leave the following Wednesday morning, so we'll be there for 5 days. We're staying at the Caribbean Beach because that's one of the resorts that's offering transportation for the events of that weekend. Are there good options for breakfast snacks at that resort, or things we should be sure to check out at the resort? I think this is a new event, and I'm wondering if anyone has heard anything about what to expect."
I mean, the food court at Caribbean Beach isn't bad. I think the complaint that we have about it isn't so much the food, it's the walk to get there. But if you're running a half marathon, the walk to the food court's not going to be your biggest priority.
Yeah, so Newell and I had dinner one trip, Mike. It was sometime this year. I was fairly impressed with their dinner. They have a number of different stations.
It wasn't bad at all. I think I had the Philly cheesesteak from one of the sandwich station. It was pretty good.
Yeah, lots of options. That's always, I love places that give me variety. I don't want to have just, 3 things. If I don't like any of them, then it's like, all right, great. Well, what can I possibly stomach, So I wouldn't worry about that. Scope, what have you heard about this Princess Half Marathon? Have you heard anything about it?
Well, first off, I thought it was in May, not March, but I guess it's in March.
Oh, no.
I know that it is it's a race where both men and women can enter. I don't think there will be any prizes given to any men who finish first or second.
Lifetime supply of Nair.
Lifetime supply. There you go. It's something that I've been thinking about doing because I like the time of the year when it's going to be held. I have run in a 15K down there, which is about 4 miles short of the half marathon. So I have an idea as to where it's going to be and how they're going to run it. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of participation they get because it's March. It's probably going to be near spring break, so it'll be pretty crowded down there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like. And if I can, I think I'm going to try and participate.
Sarah's got some more questions about the race. And obviously, since this race hasn't been held before, we might not be able to answer these, but I figure we'd give them a shot anyway. Sarah adds, none of us have ever run a race before, so this is all new to us. My mom's planning to speed walk the race. Is that allowed? She's not really a runner, but wants to do it with us. She's using it as inspiration to get in shape. I read that there is a pace. Is walking okay as long as she keeps up the pace? What happens if she conks out before the end?
Well, in the first place, it doesn't matter if you walk, crawl, run, whatever. As long as you can maintain the minimum pace, you will not be picked up by the bus. You will not be swept. So, I mean, I've seen my first half marathon. There was a woman she had to be race walking at about an 11.5-minute pace. That's how fast she was walking.
That's moving.
Yeah, that is moving. And this was at the Contemporary. I finally figured out a way to pass her. She was just, she was shaming me, and
you put your stroller in between her walking her legs when she was walking. Or your walker.
My walker. Yeah, my walker.
Yeah, exactly.
That was about 2 minutes before the ankle went. But to answer Sarah's question, Matt, yes, you can speed walk. However, protocol for a race is that if you're going to walk, I would stay all the way over to the right for the course and let the runners go to your left. That's number one. Number two, maintain your pace. Take a watch. Keep track. Watch the mile markers because they will pick you up if you're not. Even if you're 5 seconds behind the pace, you will be picked up. I had friends who were picked up and they were 30 seconds behind the pace.
That would just kill me.
Yeah.
Sarah, I'd be upset.
Sarah adds, we're arriving on Friday morning and planning to go to the event center to pick up our materials that evening. How long should we plan to be there? Are there things to do at the event center besides just get our race packets?
Nah, not really. I mean, so the event center's been in a couple of different places. Once it was in Pleasure Island, right? And then once it was at Wild World of Sports.
Usually it's all on Wild World of Sports.
Yeah. When they had the Tower of Terror race this past year in October, I went. It was at Coronado Springs. I went there just to pick up party tickets, but obviously there were people there to pick up their race stuff, and really the whole process took about, to actually pick it up. I mean, it took just a few minutes really because the hours were so long that the people were able to just get it.
Well, that's a small race. That's a small race too.
Yeah, and the only thing they had to do there, I was just going to add, was that they also had an opportunity to buy merchandise.
They'll have a fair there, if you need. I can remember for the last half marathon, I was there with Lou and Deanna Mangello, and Lou and I had to convince Deanna that she didn't need sunglasses to run a race that was beginning at 6 a.m. in the morning.
6 a.m. Exactly.
But there are some. What was the most interesting thing? And Len, keep this in mind when you pick up your race packet. Yeah. They were selling these disposable running suits. They were like $10, and they were like paper, so you could run. And then, let's say if it was going to rain,
Oh, yeah. It's like a really thin, plasticky type material.
Yeah, I mean, you could rip it like like an NBA player coming off the bench.
That's interesting.
Keep that in mind when you go in January.
That's interesting. Sarah adds, on the day of the race, I read that the race ends in Epcot. So do we get to stay in Epcot for a while, or do they clear everyone out right away?
You actually run in and out of Epcot. You'll end up if they're following the same path as they do for the full and half marathons. You end up outside behind Wonders of Life. So you're actually out of the park. You don't get free admission just by finishing the race.
Does Disney offer water, Gatorade along the race, or do we have to bring some kind of water bottles with us?
They offer a ton of stuff. So they'll offer water, they'll offer Gatorade, they'll offer snacks at around mile 6 and 9.
Vaseline.
Don't remind me.
They did not give us bananas last January. No bananas.
If you don't get the Vaseline, Joe, check the wiki.
Check the wiki. Yeah, it's an unfortunate
event.
Race event in my past. So.
Sarah's got more questions. Do you think we'll be able to tour one of the parks that day or want to relax in the room? What does your race day usually look like? Should we make an ADR for breakfast that morning at Epcot?
I'll tell you what I've done. Scopa, you go ahead.
I was just going to say what she needs to do is to keep moving after the race. I mean, I would
exactly
go back.
Right.
Yeah, you don't go back. You don't rest. I mean, you could go back, take a shower, change your clothes, and get right back on that horse and go outside. You don't want to you don't want to take a nap. You don't want to sit down and relax for a couple of hours. You want to just keep going. You may have to get up at 2 or 3 in the morning just to get to the race start at the right time and be ready. And you may feel like you're tired, but you'll be exhilarated after the race. And Len will I'm sure will back me up on this. You do not want to take a nap. You do not want to go back to your room and sleep. You want to go back to your room, take a shower, change your clothes, and go off to the parks.
Yeah, I've done it both ways. Once I finished my first race, had some breakfast and took a nap, and I was in pain that day. The second time that I did it, I finished at Epcot, walked to the front, met my family, changed in the bathroom into baggy sweatpants and stuff, and a sweatshirt, and hung around there till 2 o'clock or so, had lunch, went back, then I took a nap, and after I'd taken some Advil and stuff, and I felt way better. Woke up a couple hours later, just like a regular nap, went out, had fun that night and everything. It was a way better experience when I stayed moving and just stayed active. Drank a lot of water, had a couple of Advil or aspirin or whatever. I felt way better that way. I felt great, that day. The next day I started to feel sore, again and everything. But definitely keep moving.
And Sarah has one last question. Says, also, do you have any healthy dining options? None of us really eat meat besides chicken. I have 2 options that I thought about, both at the studios. At Starring Rolls Cafe, they have a great veggie wrap. If you're big into veggies, I mean, it's really tasty. It's really good. It's one of my favorites. The other thing is over at, again, in the studios at the Backlot Express, they have a veggie sandwich. This is a grilled veggie sandwich. The other ones are just
Is that the mushroom?
Yeah, it's got mushroom, cheese, and it's really good. That was probably my favorite one, but the veggie wrap at Starring Rolls is a very close second. Both are large and they're pretty good price. I mean, $6 or $7. So, do you guys have any other healthy dining options that?
So I know before the marathon and the half marathon, and I don't know if they did it last year, but in the past, Disney's come out with special pre-race menus that are slightly higher on carbs. I mean, it's than usual, and they'll have a special pre-race menu if you ask for it. I would say check that to see if they're offering it, and if they don't, ask your server. Say, look, we're running tomorrow. Obviously, you don't want to load up on an 8,000 calorie meal. You don't want to have fettuccine Alfredo. You want to have something like a long grain rice, a little bit of protein, a little bit of carbs, but don't overdo it, and keep away from the fats and stuff because that just doesn't settle well in your stomach.
Great.
So no cheesecake at the end.
Next email is from Scott Bushlin, who writes, "Hello, Matt, Mike Squared, Maple Len, and the Fabinet. Further to your suggestions in regard to what to be careful of on marathon weekend from episode 487. We had a very long wait trying to get a quick bite on our trip last year. We were at Port Orleans French Quarter and thought we would get a quick lunch. However, with all the runners coming back and wanting to gorge after months of training and watching what they ate, it turned into a 45-minute wait just to get a quick lunch. And that was on our last day. It cut the extra time we had planned to get our last look around. So a non-marathon guest may want to keep that in mind when thinking about lunch in their resort on marathon days. Have you guys run into that in your experience?
No, and I've actually been able to get into Whispering Canyon.
Really?
Which is really interesting, yeah.
Interesting. Very good. Well, thank you, Scott, for that suggestion. Newell, how you doing over there?
Fine.
Okay, good. Next email. Next email is from Patty. Who writes, "Hi, gang. I signed up for my first Walt Disney World half marathon. Hopefully, I won't break a leg again this year and have to back out. And have my room reserved and am training hard. My husband, El Cheapo Penny Pincher Man, is balking at renting a car. Previously, what a great name. We only used Disney Transportation, renting a car only for a day for side trips to like Cape Kennedy. And he really likes the fact that it is, quote, free to get around the world. I told him that we should rent for our January visit because of the needing to travel to the sports complex for packet pickup, etc. Is there even a bus that will take us to the sports complex? I've never seen one, but I wasn't looking."
I think there is, but I agree. I would. I mean, it's really worth taking the car. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy day when you pick up. I mean, I parked on. I don't know when you last did it, Len, but I know that last year, this past January, I had to park on the grass somewhere, and it's just crazy. And it's worth being in a car because it's just going to be that much easier and less stressful the day or two before the race. Also, if you have a car, you can go over to Epcot before the race and you can relax in your car before you really have to get out and go up to the starting area to the corrals.
I don't mind that. You know what I like as an alternative? I always stayed in Epcot Resort. So that, I take the bus there, and then when I'm done, I just walk back. Because the last thing I want to do is try and remember where I put my car, or worry about my keys, or worry about all that other stuff. I just, I'll bring my room key with me, and I just stay in Epcot Resort. And I don't like the having to get up early, the extra super early. God forbid you stay off site. I mean, I know a lot of people do it.
Wow.
But man, I mean, seriously, you don't, for all the preparation that you put into the race, blow the money for the night before and just stay on site.
Yeah.
Because it's just one less thing to worry about. And man, your head's going to be, so many things are going to be going through your head the night before. There's no point in you having to worry about, got to leave early. What if I get a flat tire? What if I get lost on the way there? Too much stuff.
I wanted to answer the question, though, about if you want to take on-site transportation. From what I understand, the only bus that goes to War Lord of Sports is from the studios. Don't know why, but that's from I remember we had a question about that, and evidently that's the case. So definitely want to keep that in mind. Patty adds, also, I'm being bombarded by emails from Disney Sports wanting me to sign up for the Runners Retreat and sign my family and friends for the cheering section to the tune of maybe $95 per thing.
Yeah, whatever.
Are these amenities offered worth the extreme cost? Do you get your money's worth?
No.
It's. I have a friend who is going to run with her brother, and I guess he's splurging to do both. And I mentioned that, you get there and you're training, and you get to the start, and if you get into that tent where it's nice and heated, and it's you've got refreshments there, and there are masseuses there, and all of a sudden, you're going to get real comfortable. And remember, you're getting up real early in the morning. You need to be keyed for this race. And so if you start giving into creature comforts, it might really lull you to sleep.
Yeah, you're not leaving.
Worth it either.
You're not leaving at that point.
Matt, how much was it? Did she say 90?
$95.
Damn, $95, dude. Go have a really nice dinner somewhere.
Yeah, I'll put it towards that resort that Len was mentioning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a way better use of the money. I mean, that's the difference between offsite and a moderate. Jeez.
Next email's from Scott Porter from Wisconsin, who writes, Mangello, Matt, Mike, Len, and lovely Mrs. Owens. I love the show. I tell everyone about it. My family and I, wife and two boys, ages 9 and 12, are looking forward to visiting the world starting January 10th or 11th for 7 days in 2009. Marathon weekend is also this weekend. The marathon on Sunday runs through all the parks on Sunday. In my hands will be some obscure, unofficial guide, something guide book. It's a great book. Any of you have ever read this before? If not, I highly recommend it.
Nice.
We are not going down to run on the marathon. Pain and vacation do not go together. On the other hand, watching other people in pain while on their vacation is okay. This does not appeal to me, but could prove to be amusing. How does the marathon affect getting around the parks? Is there one park that is less affected than the others? I am assuming that Epcot is probably my last choice because this is where it starts, ends, and parties.
Actually, Magic Kingdom is a pain in the neck to get to.
Yeah.
Even on non-marathon weekends, it's a pain in the neck to get to. But I would strongly suggest going to the Animal Kingdom in the morning, either that Saturday or Sunday, and think about visiting the other three parks sometime after. Let's see. I would visit the Magic Kingdom sometime after 10 a.m. I would visit the studios sometime after 11, and I would say Epcot anytime from noon on.
Scott adds, also, I'm a commando-style visitor. Time not spent in the parks is time wasted. Last year, after waking at 3:30 a.m. Saturday to catch our flight down from Chicago and ending the first day with Fantasmic, my boys swam at Scopa Tower Pool. Sunday, we spent 14 hours at the Magic Kingdom. Monday started with extra early magic hours at Animal Kingdom and ended late at Downtown Disney. On Tuesday, the plan was early extra magic hours at Epcot and 14 more hours of fun. That's right, I said the plan. Tuesday morning, wait in the bus line for Epcot was the most pathetic sight you ever saw. Two boys with their shoulders slumped low, hands down, staring at their shoes, too tired to fight with another. No, really. A wife with a "I do this because I love my crazy husband" smile on her face. Any of you get that smile? And a dad in his Hawaiian Disney floral print shirt asking, "Where is that bus?" So I didn't have to sleep with one eye open for the rest of the trip. We changed our plans for that day. To avoid the problems next year, I planned on I need Newell's help on this one. I plan on started Disney training. Said like Bill Murray says Army training in the movie Stripes.
Army training!
Disney training!
For my family 6 months out.
Stripes, let me just say, Stripes is one of the greatest movies of all time.
I haven't seen that.
I know you haven't seen Stripes?
What
is wrong with you?
At one point in the mid-90s, I knew every word of the dialogue.
Scott,
in fact, I quoted it either yesterday or today. I tripped over like a piece of the rug or something at work, and I turned to my admin and I said, "Have that removed." And it was.
Scott adds, I'll let you know how this goes. Does anyone know if that trivia lawyer Lou from New Jersey handles Disney divorces gratis?
Gratis.
And our final email on this show is coming from Stan Harris of Bloomington, Illinois, who writes, "Hello, Walt Disney World Today team. I have a question about the 2009 half marathon. Maybe I should direct this question to Mike Scopa. Mike, I'm registered to run for the first time in the 2009 half marathon. I'll be arriving on Wednesday before the race. I'm not planning on renting a car, but using Disney transportation. I plan to pick up my race packet on Friday morning. Finally, here's my question. Can you take a Disney bus from your resort to the wide world of sports to pick up your race packet, or is there some other way that it would have to be done? Thanks for taking the time to answer my question, guys. I love the podcast. Keep up the great work."
Sounds like a question we just answered.
Yep, I take the bus from Disney's Hollywood Studios over there.
One more thing for everybody who is doing this for the first time. It's very important that they take it easy on their legs a day or 2 or 3 before the day of the race. I know that when you're going down there, if it's their first time in Disney World in January, you get excited, you start going through the parks, possibly going, commando style. You're going to pay on race day if you do that. You're going to have to be very careful and restrain yourself.
Very good. Well, to everyone who's running in the 2009 half and full marathons, good luck, especially Lisa Ferry. She'll need it. And to everyone who has questions about the 2009 marathon, I'm going to lie and say that your question was about the 2010 marathon because we're probably not going to get to it in time. But hopefully that helps some people out there. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at WDWtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show. Good luck, bro.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.